Steve Michalak, an industrial mechanic and amateur geologist, was a frequent prospector in Falcon Lake, Manitoba, searching for precious metals. In 1967, while inspecting a quartz vein, he heard a flock of geese being agitated by two objects. Michalak initially thought they were American experimental aircraft, but later observed the landed craft, which he described as cigarette-shaped things with humps in the middle. The craft was 10.5 meters long and 4.5 meters tall and resembled hot stainless steel with a golden glow. Michalak recalled the scent of sulfur, warm air, and the sounds of a whirring motor and expelled air. Michalak observed a mysterious craft with an open door and muffled voices. He attempted to communicate with the Yankee boys in English, Polish, Russian, and German, but was unsuccessful. He approached the craft wearing welding goggles and saw light beams and panels flashing. The craft appeared empty, and Michalak found it hot and melted his gloves. The craft then turned counterclockwise, ejecting a heated gas blast that hit him in the chest and set fire to his clothing. Michalak, a man who was disoriented and vomiting after the incident, was spotted by a nearby highway patrol officer, Constable G.A. Solotki. He was offered help to seek treatment, but was declined. Michalak returned home, seeking medical attention at the Misericordia Health Center. He suffered burns on his chest and stomach, a grid-like pattern of raised sores, and continued to suffer from diarrhea, headaches, blackouts, and weight loss. He sought help from the Mayo Clinic, which determined he was of sound mind. His physical condition was allegedly consistent with radiation poisoning, but tests at Pinawa, Manitoba, came up negative. Michalak lost 13 pounds and had a lethal lymphocyte count. American Airman First Class. John Burroughs has won a legal bid to force military health chiefs to pay for his treatment for an illness caused by a UFO encounter in Suffolk, known as Britain's Roswell. His lawyer argues this is a de facto admission of UFO existence. The Rendlesham Forest Incident is a significant unsolved UFO encounter in the 20th century. Several U.S. Air Force members witnessed a silver craft with hieroglyphic symbols flying overhead on 3 consecutive nights, causing concern for their illness. In 2011, 50-year-old John Burroughs fell ill with radiation exposure symptoms. His heart valve failed, causing him to struggle with work. Burroughs and his doctor couldn't access his medical records, and he claimed the Air Force denied his employment during the UFO incident. His legal team found documents from the British Ministry of Defence indicating high radiation levels at the UFO site. The U.S. Veterans Association and Department of Defense covered Burroughs' treatment. John Burroughs was granted full disability for his injuries in Rendlesham Forest, citing MOD radiation documents. Burroughs' lawyer argued the ruling acknowledges the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, while researcher Nick Pope praised the significant development. John Burroughs, a former police officer, has secured a sensational legal victory with the Veterans Administration, indicating that he was likely irradiated by something in Rendlesham Forest. This victory has significant implications for the reality of UFOs, which are likely of ET origin. The Cash-Landrum Incident was a 1980 UFO sighting in the US, causing health and property damage. Skeptical investigators, including Class, Brooksmith, Campbell, Collins, and Dunning, questioned its authenticity. On December 29, 1980, Betty Cash, Vickie Landrum, and Colby Landrum were driving home in Dayton, Texas, when they saw a light above trees. They initially thought it was an airplane approaching Houston Intercontinental Airport. Later, they saw a diamond-shaped object emitting flame and emitting heat. Landrum warned them to stop, but Cash, a born-again Christian, interpreted the light as a sign of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Cash-Landrum inspected an intensely bright, dull metallic silver UFO shaped like a large, upright diamond. Colby was terrified, so Landrum comforted him. Cash remained outside, mesmerized by the sight. The UFO floated downwards, but when flames blasted out again, it rose about the same distance. A woman experienced a painful sensation when entering a car due to strong heat, leaving an imprint on the dashboard. The object then ascended over treetops and rose in the sky, followed by 23 helicopters approaching it. Some of these helicopters were identified as tandem-rotor Boeing CH-47 Chinooks with United States Air Force markings as per investigators. Cash and Landrum claimed to see an object and helicopters receding into the distance, claiming it lasted about 20 minutes. They were southbound on Texas Highway FM 1485-2100 when they saw the object. However, Robert Schaefer concluded that Cash, Landrum, and Schuessler had no idea where the incident took place. Witnesses reported that Cash and the Landrums experienced similar symptoms after the UFO and helicopters left, including nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, weakness, burning sensations, and sunburn. Cash experienced severe symptoms, including blisters, skin loss, and hair loss. She was hospitalized for 12 days, but later returned for 15 days. In a 1985 HBO documentary, she claimed doctors switched her treatment from burns to radiation sickness, leading to later cancer treatment. The Landrums' health was somewhat better, suffered from lingering weakness, skin sores, and hair loss. Vickie developed cataract in one eye, and Betty was treated for breast cancer in 1983. Brad Sparks suggests that the symptoms were caused by chemical contamination, possibly by an aerosol. Gary P. Posner agrees with Sparks but concludes with skepticism due to Betty's medical records, which show little hair loss upon admission and no skin loss. The Taylor incident, also known as the Livingston Incident or Dechmont Woods encounter, is a 1979 incident in Scotland, where forester Robert Taylor claimed to have seen an extraterrestrial spacecraft on Dechmont Law. The incident was recorded as a common assault and is widely promoted as the only alien sighting subject to criminal investigation. According to Taylor, a forestry worker for the Livingston Development Corporation, on the 9th of November 1979, he parked his pickup truck at the side of a road near the M8 motorway and walked along a forest path up the side of Dechmont Law with his dog. Taylor reported seeing what he described as a flying dome, or a large circular sphere approximately 7 yards, 6.4 m 21 feet, in diameter, hovering above the forest floor in a clearing about 530 yards, 1,590 feet, 480 m, away from his truck. Taylor described the object as a dark metallic material with a rough texture like sandpaper, featuring an outer rim set with small propellers. Taylor experienced a foul odor and smaller spheres dragging him towards a larger object. After waking and the objects were gone, he couldn't start his truck, so he walked home. Taylor's wife stated that he looked unkempt and dirty, with torn clothes and ripped pants when he walked home. His wife reported him to the police and a doctor who attended to minor cuts on his thighs and chin. Taylor claimed to have gotten his injuries there, and police went with him. In the ground, they discovered ladder-shaped marks where Taylor claimed to have seen the enormous spherical object and other traces caused, he claimed, by the smaller, mine-like devices. The incident was noted by the police as a criminal assault.